Doesn't matter who says what, you'll always know who you are. We've tried that, doesn't work. Take away communication and things fall apart.
So we are here for session 2 with marriage counseling coaches. And we asked the question, what is the purpose of marriage? Now, if you look at the next slide, I've got a picture there of a spade and a picture of a lot of phones, a couple of old ones there. But if I were to ask you, what is the purpose of that spade? If I would try to phone somebody on the spade, it will cause frustration. All right. So if I try to dig a hole with a cell phone, it's going to cause frustration. And it's not the cell phone's problem or the cell phone's fault. It's not the spade's fault. The problem is I'm not using it for the purpose that it was meant to be used for. So what is the purpose of marriage? And I'm going to show you now. When you experience frustration in your marriage, and remember this, every time you feel you've got frustration, you're missing the purpose. You're trying to phone with a spade. You're missing the purpose of marriage. All right, so what's the purpose of marriage? First of all, it says, I need a wife, I need a husband. Now that's a problem. That's why we get divorced. If I didn't need a wife, I can't get divorced. All right, so that doesn't sound right, eh? But that's the truth. All right, there's an ingredient that's missing. All right, there's an ingredient that's missing. It says, if you look at the next picture, it says, one ingredient makes food tasteful or tasteless. And I think all of us just know what it is. If you look, it's salt, as you can see. All right, so the same food can taste awesome. It can look exactly the same. But the one doesn't have salt in, and it's not as nice. All right, so let's go back to the question. There's a space there, a wife, a husband. I need a rich husband. I need a sexy wife. What do you think should go in there? Now, it is the salt that we need to change our marriage and to make us realize what is the purpose of marriage. All right, so if you look at the next slide, it says, I need, and it says, to be. I need to be a husband. I need to be a wife. The purpose of marriage is to be a husband, to be a wife. If that is our focus, if we make that our purpose for marriage, how can we ever get divorced? If two people, main purpose is to be a husband, to be a wife, divorce would just be impossible. All right, so next one says salt. Matthews 5:13 says, you are the salt of the earth. What am I saying? You are here to serve. You can see in this picture, Jesus is washing his disciples' feet. He is the example of serving. He shows us exactly what is serving. When he did this, he said, you wouldn't understand now exactly what I'm doing. But what he was doing is giving us an example for relationship was to serve. All right. A tree does not eat its own fruit, and a river does not drink its own water. What am I saying? This whole earth are screaming out, we are here to give. And you will always feel empty. There will always be that gap in your life if you don't learn to give. If you don't focus on giving rather than receiving. While you think about receiving, you'll be depressed, you'll be sad, you will complain. Because I don't know about you, but life isn't as I imagine it. Life isn't as I imagine my day. My day doesn't always work out. So I must learn to whatever the day brings, whatever the life brings, make the best of it. Things works out best for people who makes the best of how things work out. As easy as that. So, we are here to give. All right. There's a couple of verses that's not nice to hear when it comes to giving. We're looking at Matthew 5:39. But I say, do not resist the evil person. If someone slaps you on the right cheek, offer the other cheek also. And this man's going to slap me dead. 40. If you are sued in court and your shirt is taken from you, give your coat too. 41. If somebody forces you to walk 1 mile, go 2 miles. 42. Give to those who ask and don't turn away from those who want to borrow. And then the next one, 44, is the hard one. It says, but I say to you, love your enemy. Now, amplified that I put it there is, it says, love that is unselfishly, seek the best and high good for your enemy. Now, imagine if you have to treat your enemy this way, imagine how you must treat your wife. All right. Let's look at the word love there. It says, the Greek word is agape. It's not as much as matter of emotions. It is doing. I've got it in red, in yellow there. Doing things for the other people. For the benefit of other person. That is having an unselfish concern for another and willing to seek the best for other. If I go back to the verse there, it says, love that is unselfish, seek the better and I go good. So let's look at the next slide. Unselfish. Unselfish is willing to put the needs and wishes of others before one's own. The next word, seek, is an action. Action, seek, attempt to obtain or achieve something. It's an action. Say that it's action. So, the next one, it says, love is an action. It ends off, the very last one, it says, love is a verb without action, it's merely a word. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that love is work. Marriage is work. And if you're not willing, what I'm saying here is if you're not willing to serve, to put in the work, your marriage will be a disaster. If you're not there to give, if you're there to receive, your marriage will be a disaster. If you're the wanting person, your marriage will be a disaster. Give. God says to us, whatever you sow, you will reap. So if you put love in, you will receive love. You have to sow what you need. You can't expect love if you don't sow it. All right, so I've got, by the way, the next section, session 3, I put there, Mort Vattel said, it takes time and effort and energy. Most importantly, it takes wisdom. You have to know what to do. And the next session, session 3, is exactly what I'm going to talk about. How do you give love to the other person? What does it mean? I just said it's action. So I'm going to give you practical advice how to love your spouse. All right. Absolutely 100% practical. That's what the next session is going to be about. But for this session, I'm going to end off with a questionnaire, a short questionnaire, 5-sentence questionnaire. All right. I call this questionnaire the fun and pride test. Why I say fun is just ask yourself, am I fun to live with? Am I any fun to live with? And do I have pride? Most of the time we say we don't have pride. Now, here's a small pride test. So what you're going to do is, it's going to work like this score sheet, we can mail it to you. You can go to our website, marriagecounselingcoaches.co.za. We can mail it to you, or if it's possible for us to put it on the website to download, that'll be possible. So how it works like is, you score yourself and then you're going to score your spouse. The only reason why you're scoring your spouse is if your spouse will be interested in how did they do. It's not to show your spouse, look, you didn't get any points. What you're going to focus on actually is on your points. So the points works like this. If you're absolutely awesome with something, you put a 10. If I ask a question, you think, man, I was good, 10. If it was not so good, 5, and obviously if you didn't do it at all, failed it completely, a 0. So you're going to scale yourself from 0 to 10. All right. The first question is, how quickly do you forgive? Right. Now, the points work like this. If you forgive within 5 minutes, all right. If you can forgive within 5 minutes, you get a 100% score, 10 points for you. All right. So now all you do is, for every minute it takes longer to forgive, you deduct 1 point. All right. So if it takes you more than 15 minutes to forgive, you get 0. My question is, why would you wait to forgive? One reason, because it's about you. It's all about myself, all about myself, all about myself. You're going to forgive anyway. Like one friend said, he normally took 7 days to forgive his wife, and then he realized, but he's going to forgive her anyway. So then he realized, all right, so why do I waste a week? So why don't I just forgive her within 1 day? And then he realized, why waste a day? And why waste an hour? Why waste 5 minutes? Learn to forgive. You will never feel like forgiving. You choose to forgive. Forgive. If you want to know if you've got pride, if you take a long time to forgive, you've got a pride problem. All right, so the next question is, this is a difficult one. Were you prepared to be wrong even if you are right? Now you might think, yeah man, you're crazy. How can I be wrong if I'm right? Why can't you be wrong just for relationship? Jesus did it. Jesus hung on a cross for us. Did he do anything wrong? No. But he took all the wrong, all the sin, he took upon him. He was willing. Why was he willing to be wrong, even if he was right? Because for him it was about the relationship. Jesus dying on that cross opened up the relationship for me and you to have a relationship with our Heavenly Father. We don't have to work through a priest. For him it was about the relationship. And I'm asking you, are you putting your relationship first? Are you willing to be wrong, even if you were right? Or is it about pride? Is it about you? Am I thinking about myself? When I'm not willing to be wrong, I'm thinking about myself. All right, so follow. Next one is, have you spoiled your partner? It's not, remember, love is unselfishly seeking the higher and better good for your enemy, for your wife, for your whatever. All right, so did you seek the best for the other person? Did you do something special this week for the other person? Or did both of you do something? The question says, have you spoiled your partner, or did something special together? Did you do something? Just lie on the grass outside and just chat, or picnic outside, or I don't know, do something special together. Or did you spoil your partner this week? All right. I wonder how the scores are going by this time. All right. If this is the first time you're scoring this, don't worry. Next week you do it again, and then you can improve your scores. It's easier to improve from 0. No? All right. Right. The fourth one is, how positive are you in all circumstances? I'm not just talking about your marriage. I'm talking about all circumstances. Do you complain a lot? Because I'm telling you, if you're a complainer, you can read if you go and read books about money, you will hear, they all say, if you complain, you are a living, breathing crap magnet. You are pulling bad things to you. That's what you're doing. All right. So complaining is actually bringing more disaster to you. That's what happened to the Israelites. Remember I talked about the Israelites? They complained, and God said, all right, the things that you complain about will happen to you now. You said, we should rather die in the desert. Well, you know what? You said it will happen now. So you can complain yourself out of the promised land. Stop complaining. And it is disastrous for your marriage. If your wife or your husband comes to the house every day and after work and you're complaining, it just, I don't know. If somebody complains, I want to run from them. So what do you expect from your partner if you complain all the time? They're going to run from you. All right, and then the last question, obviously, how transparent are you in your daily life? All right, so we have to trust each other. I can't have a block on my phone. My wife needs to know what's on my phone. She needs to know what's on my laptop. She needs to know what's going on in my bank account. She needs to know everything. She needs to know. He needs to know. You can't hide stuff from each other. So the last question is, how transparent are you? All right, guys, fill those in and see how I did and do it in a week's time again. And we talk to each other in session 3.
Doesn't matter who says what, you'll always know who you are. We've tried that, doesn't work. Take away communication and things fall apart.